All right, let's just jump right in. You're trying to grow your business, and that means you need the right equipment, right? But brand new stuff, whew, that can break the bank. So you start looking at private sales, maybe an auction. And that's where things get interesting. It's this world of amazing deals, but it can also be a total minefield if you don't know what you're doing.
You know the feeling. You're scrolling online, maybe late at night, and bam, there it is. The perfect piece of gear. The exact trailer you've been looking for, and the price, it almost feels like a typo. It's sitting on some guy's lot a few hours away, and you just know this is how you get ahead. The best deals are almost never in the shiny showroom, and man, is that tempting.
But then the questions start flooding in. Okay, how do I actually pay for this thing? Is the seller legit? And what about getting a loan or the title? And don't even get me started on hidden taxes that can just pop up out of nowhere. Suddenly, this amazing deal feels, well, it feels really stressful. It can be a lot to handle.
So that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to build you a roadmap, step by step. The goal is to cut right through all that confusion so that by the time we're done, you'll be able to walk into these deals, whether it's a private sale or an auction, feeling totally confident.
All right, first up, the private sale. Look, going to a dealership is easy, sure, but the real value, the real deals, they're often with private sellers. The catch is, you've got to know the rules of the game. Because out here, there's no one holding your hand.
Okay, let's talk about the biggest hurdle for pretty much everyone. The money. Finding the machine is the fun part. Figuring out how to pay for it, that's the challenge. And to do that, you have to get inside a lender's head and see the world the way they do.
And you'll see ads like this everywhere, right? We'll be your partner. We'll make it fast and easy. They make it sound like a breeze, just a simple, secure process. But what's really going on behind the scenes? Let's pull back the curtain. Okay, so this is where it gets real. This is from a lender's internal playbook. This is what they're actually looking at. They can talk all they want about partnership, but underwriting is a simple pass or fail. Just look at the red flag column. See that one? NSFs? That stands for non-sufficient funds. To you, a bounced check might be a simple mistake. To them, it's a giant red flag that says you can't manage your cash. It basically screams high risk. Same goes for late payments. It's not a negotiation. It's a checklist. And you gotta have a check mark in every single box, period.
And it's not just about you either. It's about the gear you're trying to buy. Lenders, well, they have their favorites. They get really comfortable financing equipment for industries like farming and construction. Why? Because that stuff, tractors, excavators, it holds its value really well. It's a safe bet for them. And for a lender, it is all about playing it safe and minimizing their risk.
Okay, so let's say you've got your financing all lined up. Awesome. Now comes the part where you actually make the purchase. And you really need to know that buying from a private seller is a completely different ballgame than buying at an auction.
When you're dealing with a private sale, you have to understand lenders have a rule book, and it is not flexible. So let's run through it. First, they almost always will only finance equipment that has a title. So that yellow iron, bulldozers, excavators that don't have titles, usually that's a no-go. Second, you and the seller can't be family or business partners. It has to be an arm's-length transaction to keep things legit. But here's the absolute biggest one. The title. That piece of paper must be in the seller's name. No skip titles, no excuses. And this is so important. You, the buyer, should never have the title in your hands before the money has been sent. The lender takes care of that. It's how they protect themselves and make sure everything is clean.
So what if you go to an auction? Okay, you need to be really, really careful here. A lot of people are surprised by this, but lenders, they get super nervous about auctions. Think about it from their perspective. There's less control, no time for deep inspections, it's just more risk. So what happens? Most of the time, they will only finance one thing from an auction. Trailers. That's it. For anything with an engine, they just see too many question marks. So lesson here. Before you even get a bidding number, you need to have a very clear conversation with your lender to see if they'll even touch an auction deal for what you want to buy.
And there's one more little surprise waiting for you at the auction that trips up almost everybody. I'm talking about taxes. You win the bid, you're feeling great, and then the invoice comes, and there's this big sales tax tacked on. You're thinking, wait, where did that come from? Don't worry, let's break it down.
Here it is. This is the key thing you have to understand. As far as the government is concerned, you didn't buy that equipment from the person who used to own it. Nope, you bought it from the auctioneer. And since the auction house is a business, they have to, by law, charge sales tax on the sale. It's as simple as that.
This shows you exactly how the money and the tax flows. So the original owner hands the equipment over to the auctioneer. The auctioneer sells it to you. Then the auctioneer tacks on the sales tax to your bill. And finally, they're the ones who send that tax money to the government. See, the original owner isn't involved in the tax part at all. It's a straight line from you to the auctioneer to the taxman.
And just to make things a little more interesting, not every single fee from the auction house is taxed. Here's a simple way to think about it. If it's a service just to get the thing sold, like advertising, it's usually not taxed. But if it's a service to make the thing better, like repairs or replacing a key, then yeah, that's going to be taxable. Knowing this can help you make sense of that final invoice.
Phew! Okay, that was a lot, I know. We've gone through financing, titles, taxes, the whole shebang, so let's put it all together. We're going to create a simple, practical checklist you can actually use the next time you're ready to buy. All right, part 1 of your checklist is all about your money, and you need to do this before you even start shopping. First, know your credit score. Yes, 625 might get your foot in the door, but really, you want to be in that 660 to 720 range. That's the sweet spot. Second, get your last 3 months of business bank statements and make sure they are spotless. I'm talking 0 overdrafts, 0 NSFs, none. And last, make sure all your other loan payments are up to date. Honestly, if you nail this part, you're already halfway there.
Okay, checklist part 2, the private sale. Your mantra here is the title, the title, the title. So, step 1, does it even have a title? Confirm it. Step 2, is the seller's actual name on that title? Double check it. Step 3, are you buying from a stranger? It has to be an arm's length deal. And step 4, the golden rule. Do not handle the title yourself. Let the finance company or a pro take care of the transfer. Just follow those 4 steps and you'll sidestep a world of headaches.
And finally, checklist part 3, the auction. This is a totally different set of questions. First off, is it a trailer? Because if it's not, getting financing is going to be tough, so you need to know that up front. Second question, and this one is a deal killer. Call the auction house and ask them, do you take payment directly from a lender? You'd be surprised how many don't want the hassle, which could leave you high and dry. And last but not least, remember to budget for tax. The price you win the bid at is not the final price you pay.
Look, the world of used equipment is where you'll find the deals that can really help you level up your business. The secret isn't to be scared of it, it's to be smart about it. And now, you've got the map. You know the route. So the only question left is, what's your next move?